Hi, my name's Max. I'm 18 and I'm doing year 12 at the moment. I think sleep was something I probably took for granted early on, but that all changed after I've had several concussions, and that's made sleep really difficult. And it's the sort of thing you don't really appreciate how important it is before you can't do it. So I've had a history of concussions. So when I was about 14, I've had 2 or 3 concussions playing footy, but they were all reasonably benign and I recovered after a couple of days. But then in year 11 playing school footy, I had at the time, reasonably innocuous head knock. From there, everything changed in terms of sleep. One of the key symptoms of that was insomnia. And with delayed recovery concussion, that was something that continued for months. So because of the headaches, I wasn't able to get to sleep. I'd lie in bed for 3 or 4 hours. And it just was a vicious cycle in that I couldn't sleep, therefore my body couldn't heal itself. So the symptoms kept getting worse, which meant that I couldn't sleep, and it just kept repeating. I was having different medications. They were taking quite a while to come into effect. So it was quite frustrating, the idea of this will take time and you need to rest. But that was something I wasn't able to do. So I'm about 6 months on from my last concussion, and sleep has improved a lot. So I'm still not exactly where I was before, but I can definitely feel the difference getting in 6 hours most nights. So when I was really sleep deprived throughout the day, it just made everything so difficult. I was physically drained, so I couldn't go out and exercise, which is something that has always been a massive part of me, something I enjoy doing, and also great for my mental health. I didn't have that outlet to help boost my spirits, but it also meant that my school performance suffered, so I couldn't concentrate in class. I had blurry vision and nausea, which it was often hard to separate the concussion symptoms from the sleep symptoms because they were so intertwined. Before, I very much took sleep for granted, but having experienced what it's like to be really deprived of sleep, I can now say it's one of the more important things I think about in terms of both my physical and mental health. So yeah, sleep's very much become a priority for me, making sure that each night I'm getting a good night's sleep. Sleeping problems will be a particularly difficult challenge for our generation, with things like phones and social media keeping us up at night. There has to be a deliberate focus on making sure that we're putting these things away and recognizing that sleep really should be a priority. I think people who may have been neglecting sleep in the past, if that becomes a priority, would feel like a completely different person, just the impacts it can have on your life, making you so much more energized and ultimately happier. It's such an important part of mental health, like exercise or diet is, but I think it's not treated as such.
I think generally sleep isn't understood and valued as much as it should be because it is so important. Max was lucky in that he had a group of specialists who were focused on sleep once they understood that it was an issue for him and pulled resources in. But he was at the Royal Children's Hospital where there's some real experts there who were supporting him and who valued sleep as part of the cluster of elements that was going to make him better. I think the teenage years are particularly challenging around sleep because our children are of a generation where potentially they can always be on. They can always have something that distracts them, and that can bleed over into sleep time. But they're also got feelings of being invincible, and then naturally their body clock is shifting to go to bed later. So there's lots of things that are and they have to get up early to go to school. So there's lots of societal boundaries that have an impact on their quality of sleep. So it would be lovely if the broader community understood sleep and also understood teenagers maybe a little bit more and had a bit of compassion for them, because I think we all just say, you should just get off your phones. But they need help to form those great habits. I know that I found that a real priority when my kids were little, so I started working on it long before I had to wrestle a phone out of their hands to say sleep was important, and they both have a spot for their phone that isn't their bedroom.